They have nothing to do with. So one plant I'm talking about, if it goes NPA, if it gets stuck, if it goes under liquidation or resolution, this is what happens. So mind you, there's a huge chaos, and on a forensic auditor, there is therefore rests a huge responsibility of what you should do and how you have to do it, because you are not accountable only to the banker or to a stakeholder, but you are accountable to this entire scheme or stream of people who are now dependent on this one asset. Yeah. So therefore, I'm saying it's a very, very big responsibility as a forensic auditor that you have to do. So as I said, it always starts with the chaos. Then the experts come in or the stakeholders come in. So bankers in our case. So in other cases, police and all will come in. They will analyze the issue. These are the people who will identify the issue. These are the people who will tell you the intensity of the issue. These are the people who will ascertain kitna damage hua hai, and they'll apply all their techniques, all their textbook methods, all of their experiences to what to do, corrective measures. सारे छेड़छाड़ कर लेंगे वो लोग. Then afterwards, you'll get an expert. Now, what does that expert do in a movie? That expert, maybe an investigator, maybe an expert guy, maybe a forensic guy, or whoever, he comes in, he listens, he observes very, very closely, very intently, each and everything that is happening, each and every document that is being created, each and every information that is being offered to him. He observes all of that. He observes all of that. Then he goes back to his drawing board. He briefs his team. So, this is the most important part. How much do you take in and how much do you give out as a forensic auditor? And then what you start doing is, very importantly, briefing your teammates about what is to be done. Which direction do we have to go? If outright you think about that this account is a fraud account, and if you go in a direction to say that nahi, ye to fraud hai, isko अपन को करना hai, you're gone. As a forensic auditor, you cannot have this prejudice whether this account is fraud. For example, I'll tell you one of the biggest cases in Gujarat. There's this plant in Pune also. They have a plant, Sterling Group I'm talking about. This company was given a clean chit by a forensic auditor. And you know what? Why a clean sheet was given? And CBI, if afterwards, in fact, we were involved later on with CBI and everyone, and we have declared them as a fraud. Why? Because documents were created, documents were provided, every other information was available. When the other forensic auditor came in, there was no much information available, and because they didn't have any information, they had to give a clean report. You cannot be biased, you cannot go on hearsay, you have to go absolutely on this first line that is suitable for use in the court of law. If there is nothing, your theories, nothing. So just imagine in court of law, what works? It's only documents that work. Your stories, your theories, your songs, your emotions, they have no place in a court of law. Yeah. It's absolutely what the facts are and what exactly are the documents. So as an emerging discipline, this one as a forensic audit, it encompasses financial expertise, which we have, fraud knowledge, which will now we get, and a sound knowledge and understanding of business reality. As I said, the entire stream of people. There are some various practices which are prevalent in India. With every industry, there are certain set of practices. Now you have to understand whether these practices are practical or not. Yeah, suppose I have dealt a lot with the steel and mining sector. Suppose this if you have all about this coal mining scam, and there were so many companies, in fact the names of like Kumar Mangalam, Birla and everyone, all of these people who have been essentially doing a lot for the corporate governance and setting up good practices. Even they were named, even Mr. Ratan Tata, so many all people. So people in this scams, this is a big government disaster. This is not a fraud done by an individual or by a promoter or something. It's a systematic government collapse. The scam was a big by a political angle, by anything else which is not related to your company or your corporate governance, and you are forced to become part of it. So that is a different story. Now for example, I'll tell you, people who are affected in this coal scam, they've all been granted immunity by the Supreme Court against IBC proceedings. That is important, right? Because that is not for their fault. They did what they wanted to do just to acquire those coal mines, and they set up large power generation units based on their one thing that we'll get these coal mines. Now, once your coal becomes cheaper, just imagine with the power that you generate at 8 rupee a cost in Mumbai, for example, it is so lucrative, so lucrative. Not even 1 rupee is my cost of power generation when I have my in-house coal mines. So that is the amount of profits that we have. But eventually, it all went into so the banks who funded them. Now that cannot be called as a fraud. Of course, there could be some other reasons as well. But when these power generating units are there, you can see these machineries and everything has been put in place. So that's how sound knowledge and understanding of business reality and the working of a legal system. Simply stated, forensic auditing includes use of accounting. We know that. Auditing, we very well know that. And investigative skills, we can learn that to assist in legal matters. After all, this is all about legal matters. This is all going to be fought in the court of law. Forensic audit can be conducted in order to prosecute a party for fraud, embezzlement, or other financial claims. In addition, an audit may be conducted to determine negligence. Forensic audit is an examination of firm, entities, or individuals' financial information or used as an evidence in court. Now, coming to the next point, um, what are the different types of audit? How can we differentiate forensic audit from other audits? This is a small little table that I've prepared for you. Maybe you can take a screenshot and we can move ahead. Important is we are not expressing an opinion. We are outrightly giving our verdict. It's no more that you can beat around the bush. It's no more that audit thing that you can do, saying that hamare hisab se, in our opinion, disclaimer, this, that. Absolutely no disclaimers. Whenever you use any disclaimer in a forensic audit, you're killed. Never again you will get an opportunity to work as a forensic auditor. No one would like that. Yeah. Techniques may, you cannot do a substantial compliance. You have to do a investigative and in-depth checking. Period. There's absolutely no period. There's no limitation. You can have a, so for a typical forensic audit in a very small level, you can have a 2 year 3 year period, and otherwise it can go back to back. So we've done for a account, for example, 18 years. Just imagine the fees that we would have earned when you're auditing 18 years again. Yeah. So the opportunity in forensic audit has been massive. It's like extreme, absolutely extreme. Verification of stock relies on the management certificate management. This you cannot do anymore. You, most of the auditing standards that we have will become moot when you're doing a forensic audit. That is why I said you have to kill yourself as an auditor. You have to get out of the shell of being a statutory auditor or a other type of auditor, but you have to be a forensic auditor. So you have to do an independent, or you have to verify, or you have to, maybe of suspected items, selected items, or do it smartly. So there are so many strategies to verify a stock. You can always play a very villainous role. You can always so as I said, it is an art. So here you have to use you, not only you, but your resources, your team members. How do they gel with the employees? See, after all, in every company, the lifeline are their employees. So you have to find that one right employee who can give you the real information, who can give you the, so in our words we call them as a making a chintu. Yeah. So making a chintu means getting someone from other party to help you to become your party, and but you cannot produce him as an evidence, because he may overturn himself. He may become bad. This witness may become hostile. What you have to do is you have to take cues from him, and you have to draft, and you have to find out, and you have to ensure that you can establish, yes, these observations were absolutely there, be it for stock, be it for cash, be it for bank. Now for example, when when entries, when you heard about a lot of entries that are being exchanged and cash being generated, how can you and me really establish the possibility of cash being generated? It's not possible. See, because that's been done in past, and that is always done out of the books. Now they've done in the books through bogus expenses. Now that is where what you have to find out. But you cannot establish that cash was generated. What you can establish is a pattern, that these expenses were booked at the same time when this entry came in. You can see the duration, you can see the amount, these similarities. And I have some that case study also built in this presentation, which I will take it for you. But this is all what you can build up, and then you can establish. But cash generation, never did you see, never did anyone else see. And if anyone comes and tells you also, no, I handled this much cash and I using this idea or something, I transferred, it's not going to help at all, because that could be anything. Money doesn't have any color. It cannot be this blue, it cannot be as black or pink or any other color that you are wearing now. Yeah. Off balance sheet items, so you cannot just stay on the arithmetic accuracy or something. You have to look at the regulatory and the propriety. Propriety means the correctness, the genuinity of these transactions that are examined. Now, what are the frauds? As I told you about, as we were speaking about, there are various frauds. And what is our definition of frauds? Where do we derive our definition of fraud from, and where can we, in what context, in what, as I said, we don't have a block wherein we have to start working as a forensic auditor. When I'm talking about forensic audit, it is so wide that these all acts are covered. So when I'm talking about Companies Act, we're talking about Section 447 is our guide. Then when we talk about Criminal Procedure Code or Indian Penal Code, we've got Section 25. Although fraud is not defined anywhere or any of these places, but this is where we can inference, and when our observation, and we can say yes, this is fraud because of these guidelines. Indian Contract Act 1872, Section 17. If no other fails, Section 17 is very helpful for us. SEBI, we have got 11C empowers to investigate, and there are these detailed procedures that they have been, informing us. Information Technology Act 2000, 43 and 44. This is a very, very crucial thing that we can always look up to. And believe me, friends, forensic audit doesn't only talk about only doing financials. It talks about doing that email. It talks about doing that various other WhatsApps. It talks about investigating so many other transcripts. For example, ILFS got busted only because of emails that they exchanged. you know the auditors who had compromised was absolutely certified, or was absolutely found out when these emails were discovered between these parties, between the employees and the MDs, that okay, we have managed them, this will happen, that will happen, and all of that. So very important these communication are. Most of the time, we are not sure, but these information remain in the trail email. So most of the time when I've got an email and all this, and I'm answering someone or I'm discussing someone, this email remains in the trail. तो जो discussion हमने किया कि fraud हम लोग करने वाले हैं, वो हमने जो सोचा है वो trail में रह जाता है. And what we do is we send this email, or we are discussing with someone else कि इसको कैसे manage करना है, क्या करना है, और you do it, you take care of it. In fact, in one of the accounts we have come across email chains wherein exactly कितने consultants को कितना पैसा दिया गया एलसी डिस्काउंटिंग कराने का, फेक एलसी, फेक इनवॉइसेस बनाने का, फेक ट्रक नंबर्स वगैरह लाने का, वो सारी की सारी डिटेल एक ईमेल में मिली हमको. एंड दैट ईमेल वाज अराउंड 40 emails below that one email. Usually हमने first email, second email देख लिया, उसके आगे हम print नहीं लेते हैं, देखते नहीं email. But thankful to some small little tools that we use, where these words get thrown, we can go and catch up. हम लोग hashtag use करते हैं आजकल. Hashtag use is being used a lot. So there is this function called hashtag. हमेशा these hash functions always helps you. So suppose if you want to do a query search, तो जो भी database आपके जितने भी emails आपने ले लिए उसमें सिर्फ एक query search कर लो, hashtag fraud, hashtag money, hashtag. So you find out these keywords and you throw it in the system. जहाँ जहाँ पर भी वो keywords होंगे, that will the tool will throw back to you, and you can identify, and then you can read it. So I'm telling you 40 emails ka trail tha, and then we found out these list of people. So we could identify absolutely each and every vendor where there could be fraud. So in a line item of around 600 employees, 600 vendors, we could identify those 25 people who have been utilized, who have been done to do it. And believe me, friends, when we went on to establish the trail of money in these accounts, in one day, and you will not believe it, in one day we have seen 60 transactions back to back happening of almost similar amount in almost around 83 companies. It's just mind boggling. It's absolutely mind boggling. So then we have got PMLA. Then there's this PMLA. This is one of the most destructive sections, and this is one of the most. So every promoter who's acting too smart, one thing that can break down is this PMLA. This is a very important tool that we have. Of course, Insurance Act, Income Tax Act. Yes, the special audit that we do, not the tax audit, but the special audits that we get, they are nothing but essentially a kind of forensic audits in the context of income tax. That is different, but these are the sections, and of course you can look at them. I'm not covering them because otherwise we'll miss out on the other tools of this. And RBI, we've got a very important notification, and all of you should follow this notification. This is must for every forensic auditor to look at. And there are some 43 early warning signals, or 43 signals that they have identified, wherein if any of these are pertaining, you can create a red flag and probably also identify a fraud. Okay, so corporate frauds. What are we talking about? Corporate frauds. What kind of frauds? So as I said, first topic is our what kind of frauds are there. So in corporates, we see personal purchases. Suppose a director and his son and her fiance. Now a fiance draws a painting or something. So it gets passed in the board and everything. So fiance is definitely not a related personality. So for example, um, whenever I'm doing a transaction, I can always find out whether these are related party transaction or not. But related party definitions can easily be override, can easily be overcome, because we know the definition. But what we don't know the definition is of a connected party. That is where a forensic auditor always keeps his mind or angle into ki, if at all there is a slightest connection with that one person, I would term it as a related party transaction. And you're free to do that because it can get very well established. Because if that transaction is not at arm's length, irrespective of it is a related party or not, it can be termed as a fraud. So, for example, as I said, a director and his son, a son's fiance. A fiance is never a related party so far. Now, if I'm doing any transaction with a fiance or a company in which this fiance is a director, yeah, so all of these people, all of these so far has been going through, even an independent director or audit committee will pass through all of these things, because saying that okay, these are not related party, this can be done. But what would happen is at the same time you'll find some other default, or why these high value purchases or payments have been made. You'll see an automatic effect during that duration in some other compliance or in some other treasury operations. So, and that is how you can find out whether this person was personal purchase or not. Ghost employees, Ram Sham, all of these different kind of names. Sahara chit fund is this is the biggest example. They've created so many employees, so many people, so many investors, and they've routed their cash through these people. They've created their fake KYC and all, and a truck load of KYC was submitted also. Now who's gonna examine that? Yeah? But apparently it does. So we were doing this one forensic audit of NBFC. It is in Northeast, one of the very very big NBFC in Northeast, the Seven Sisters that we call. It was quite famous there, and the regulatory and the compliance and the environment is different for northeastern states. So what happened was, when we were going through, so these people, the NBFC, what they do is they lend from banks. So they borrow from banks and they do a forward lending, right? So whenever, so I have taken say around 200 crores from A bank A, 200 from B, 200 from C. So all these 200 crores, so my book size is 600 crores. How much am I lent? Maybe say if I have around 50 crores more, so 650 crores I've lent. Now, if I were to give you a books, as a stock audit or receivable audit, NBFC has to give their 200 crores, how have they utilized and to whom. So they keep on sharing a document कि ये 200 crore आपके हमने इसको लिए, आपके 200 crore इसको लिए, आपके but never have they shared ये 200 बैंक B और C के 200 crore के investments to bank A. So I can, as a bank, I can never find whether if this NBFC has taken so 200 from me, 200 from B, 200 from C, and have put all the 600 in one asset only. So अगर वो asset बिगड़ा, all of three banks will go for a toss. I never get that visibility. So what happens is, of course, when a forensic audit was involved, we identified each and every line item, each and every investment that they have mentioned, and what we could see was a pattern of after every around 60 employees. These were 60 vendor investment parties. They were being repeated in a particular fashion, and it was with A, B, C, all three. एंड दैट सेड अस कि इफेक्टिवली जो आपने 600 करोड़ दिए उसका सिर्फ इन्होंने 100 या 200 करोड़ ही लेंड किया है, बाकी सब पर्सनल कंजम्पशन के लिए यूज किया है. And very easily we could do that fraud. Of course, we got a death threat and everything, and we had to run away from there before we could conclude. And I don't know what is happening because वहाँ पर कोर्ट क्या होता है, किसका कोर्ट चलता है, they have all have guns and everything. So, but yeah, their assets in Delhi, in Chennai, in Bangalore, they were all have been confiscated. But nothing, I don't know about what has happened in the Northeast. But yes, it was small little exercises that you keep doing, you can find out. Skimming, tax avoidance. This is we people. I think there's so many chartered accountants who play a big role in this scheme. But until unless if it is all part of, as we say, as we heard about in Supreme Court decisions, if it is all within the four corners of law, it's okay. That's tax planning. But if you are doing a theft, if you are doing an avoidance, it cannot be excused. Asset theft and unauthorized use of funds. So these are so all of these, Now financial statement falsification, now depreciation period. These are some of the methods in our experiences that I've identified and brought it for you to identify to maybe point out ki, these are the places where you can do a fraud. So suppose assuming you reach out to your companies where you are statutory auditors and you ask them, friends, Mr. Promoter, can we do a fraud risk management exercise done for your company? And you can check on all of these things. With my experience, although small little experience of 2.5 years, uh, I have come to a conclusion that there are only two kind of companies in this world. One where there are no frauds, yeah, and one there are frauds. Most of the people will answer this, but I have a different answer. There are only two kind of companies in our country. One where the promoters realize there is fraud in the country in their company, and the other the promoters do not realize that there is fraud in the company. There is no other third option available in this country. Everywhere it is happening. It is all about in what level, how material, how significant, and how cyclical it is. If it recoups or if it recompensates itself, it's okay. But if it is not happening, somewhere or the other it will block and it will go off, it will wither away. Promoters most of the time know that, but there are some they don't know that, or they don't realize, or they don't accept. That is where our role comes in. And if you are a part of that company, and if you can find out, you are the first step to be a forensic auditor is that. And the benefits is once you identify fraud and everything and you report it to the promoter, and you say that you are now under obligation to report it to an authority or something, you can very well not only get that rectified but also get a very good fees also done for you. And that is really rewarding. That's a very enriching experience. Sorry. Now, corporate fraud can be extremely difficult to contain and is essentially impossible to stop if senior management is willing to engage in it. In such cases, even the most robust control system can be breached. So, friends, even if you have a very good internal controls, risk management, and all of this, it can all go for toss if the senior management is involved in doing these frauds, because they have identified them, they have structured all of this. It's very easy to break them up. You can all please get these instructions issued by RBI, Master Direction on Fraud Classification Reporting by Commercial Banks on 1st July 2016. This is a very good circular. You should definitely go through it. It's a framework for which banks can. It is to enable them to detect and report frauds. It's a very good framework. It's a very good circular, and it's a master circular for all of us. Now, what are the fraud risk prone areas? uh, so these are some of the places that. So I'm not going into detail with this. I think we'll have very less time then. Um, uh, these are steps. So I'm going to more important part, ingredients for fraud or mischief. These are the various notions that you'll always have. So an individual, these are the recipe for doing a fraud. Has an idea, ambition, and has nothing to lose. Has that attitude of, सब कुछ मैं ही करूँगा, देख लूँगा, बहुत बड़ा हो जाऊँगा. Has good connects, advisor, has vision, licensing, everything. Has got money, gets funds easily. A lot of projects get easily established. I mean, you keep on hearing, although you cannot see them, but you keep on hearing, ये project भी चालू, ये project भी चालू. There are relatives, people whom you blindly, put faith in him, and there is infrastructure. And then he knows some greedy professionals and struggling ecosystem wherein he can easily exploit them. So if you are in an environment wherein you find any of these aspects, make sure you are in a fraudulent environment. And all you need to do is find out, challenge yourself, find it out, present it, and believe me, you'll get a good fees. Dinesh Thakur, one of the whistleblower of Ranbaxy, he's just sitting back and relaxing his entire life. He's earned a phenomenal hundreds of crores just being a whistleblower for someone like a Ranbaxy, a number one company in US, having plants in India. Um, and doing an absolute outright fraud. Not even doing one medicine was tested, nothing was done. The biggest fraud that would have happened in the century, in the earlier century. But he's made loads of money, loads and loads of money. Of course, it comes at risk. Returns are higher when there is a higher risk involved. So we all know that. The approach to this forensic audit is: one is, first you do a preliminary analysis, then you do a bank statement analysis, third is the financial statement. So I'm restricting myself to now financial frauds, which is essentially a biggest opportunity for all of us chartered accountants here now. Market intelligence and background, these are the four important crucial things that you as a chartered accountant can do, and based on these things you can definitely get to any of these outcomes, which is financial statement manipulation or window dressing, diversion of funds, siphoning of funds, and genuine loss due to internal external regions. Now, initial steps. So, what do you do in the preliminary analysis? As Priti madam mentioned, the KYC and all. Now, here is what I want to do, and Ruta madam, as she asked about what KYC and all she should do. So, company profiling is so very important. You know, you should know the promoters very well, and not only promoters, but who do these promoters belong to? Most of the time, we see there are drivers, and there are some peons and all that directors now in some companies. But essentially, a more robust Google search or a more robust director search would help you give details. Now, for example, if a director is registered at an address, or an email address is updated, or something is updated because it has to be under control of someone else, you will find it different than their names. You'll find a different address, you'll find a different what do you call email ID, you'll find a different number, or some of the other KYC would be different than what the person is. This is how we unearth most of the promoters belonging to that particular group. So company registration, details of registered office, line of business, factory location, shareholding pattern. So all of these are small things that we have highlighted, essentially only to find out one thing: whether there is a group of promoters, whether the directors profiling. So Pune, for example, we've done a lot of forensics, and one of the biggest cases that we've done is for a infra sector company and a real estate company, wherein any Tom, Dick, and Harry was a director in so many subsidiaries that they had opened up for every project, typically that they would do. But they all had a one common email address of a company, and this email address was also in the main big company that we could trace out. And their promoters, their main directors, they were also using this email ID. So we could all ascertain, these are all although these companies look separate, but they're effectively controlled by these. Now it's only about how robust. So once you start, so you don't need law, or you don't need any other guidelines to prove them that they are related, connected, or they are part of the same group. All you need to do is establish whether there were some transactions, some shady transactions done with them. And once you have done that, no one will challenge you whether they're related or not, because it is automatically accepted truth. Because this now goes to a different level. It doesn't stay in the governance or in the compliance level. Again, very important point is, go to section 29A of IBC. They define, they define connected parties. Now that is the robust definition that we should always follow whenever we are doing a forensic and we want to do a related party search or any other party search. You should follow this 29A part definition. This will take you to the best place to identify whether or not these transactions were at arm's length or not. So this is one example that I do. So I've given three brothers, their wives, their sister-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, all of these people. Uh, Maybe we can go that this example. I've talked about it. So now coming to the analysis of bank statement. In one of the cases, what we've done is we've got 60 bank statements. We have analyzed 60 bank statements, and what we have done is we have reproduced all these 60 bank statements in particular order. That you will get to know once you start doing it more and more. You'll automatically understand that. But most important is you should do these kind of analysis: document review, loan sanction documents, LCBG supporting documents, special audit report, stock audit report. From these four, you'll get the maximum information, and identify that one person who would have done these. Everyone goes to a consultant, mostly a chartered accountant, for doing these LCBG transactions. To identify if there is one consultant doing all these LC transactions, and identify a market survey, do a market study, reach out to your friends, about this consultant, and you will get to know whether these are reals or not, and you will also get to know which is that office from which he gets the fake invoices and fake transport documentation is prepared. Also, it's very easy. We know there are a handful of consultants who do these funding, and especially in big companies there are only selected people. Mostly they come in a huge reputation, they come with a big chain and rings, and in fancy cars and all of this, just to ensure that easily we can get funds for you. Very easy to identify these people. Data analytics on bank statements. So these are the perform trend scenario analysis. This is month end debits and credits, circular movement of funds. Very easy to find out if you put in their multiple bank accounts in a particular phase, and one amount, if you keep on rotating and you see equal debits and credits across, well, it's a very effective exercise. And one important thing that you should do is, from a bank perspective, is always identify a material amount, and beyond that, always identify their end recipient. Yeah, who the money has actually gone to. Start plotting that down against all the entries. Very easily you can come to a conclusion of whether there is a circular movement or a round of transaction or something like that. NEFT RTGS dump, as I said, now to ascertain beneficiaries of transactions. Suspicious outflows, so related parties, connected parties, parties in unrelated business. So you see, find out vendors, top 10 vendors आप ढूंढ लो. टॉप 10 वेंडर्स का गूगल सर्च कर लो, दे डोमेन सर्च कर लो, जीएसटी का कोड, एचएसएन कोड वगैरह देख लो इनवॉइसेस में, whether they are in the same kind of business or an ancillary business of this company. If not, you get that guy because वो सिर्फ बिलिंग का काम हुआ है. Identify and remove entries pertaining to interest, commission, bank charges. वो सब हटा दो. Those are some sundry cheese. Focus on something more. Mapping of interbank and intrabank transactions to identify. And one thing you have to identify is, if at all there is another bank account outside the consortium or outside which is unknown, you have to grab that account, because that, according to that RBI circular, is the biggest fraud. If you have done that for whatever reason. So for example, in one of the so we were doing one big forensic in Kolkata, very very big company, 5,000 crore exposure. They had an account opened with a particular bank. Now in that case, they had to import some materials from Iran. Now to do a transaction in Iran, there's only one bank in India who can do this. So in that scenario, that is a different thing. So they have to go to that account and create that bank account and all of that. Apart from that, it cannot work. That's a different thing. But if you are, so there is one report. I'm just forgetting the name. That report, if you find out that if you extract that report from cleric report, yes, the cleric report, if you get it from a bank, all the banks have this access to this reports for every account, for every PAN number. You can for every company, you will get to know what are the loan accounts that this company has across India. In one of the companies, again a Pune based company only, that we did, we found out there were some accounts opened in Delhi, Gurgaon, Amritsar, by the same name, same promoters, everything. And none of the banks ever knew that these bank accounts were ever present, although their cleric report always were there in front of them. But it's usually in the burden they cannot do this exercise. But it was very easy cakewalk then to disclose the fraud and all the dealings that these companies used to do using those accounts there. This is the bank statement analysis. For example, I've given an example. So there's a loan disbursement on 8th May, and immediately on 8th May, you see almost that amount to a new company which is going. Now, when you find out this new company, so accordingly on the face of it looks okay कि आपने loan disburse किया और मैंने ले लिया, क्योंकि इसके against newly formed entity के मेरे पास invoice होंगे, मेरे पास कुछ ना कुछ documents होंगे, acceptance होगा, उसके against I'm making this payment. But to go ahead and find out about that company, so this is the details that we found out. It was incorporated in March with only a capital of 1 lakh, just 2 months before the bank loan transaction date. Directors of newly formed are A and B, and registered address same as target company. Outright is a fraud. Outright this is siphoning off of funds. There's no question. There's no reason that there could be any genuine transaction in this. Yeah. So these are the ways that you could find out. Uh, so I think sorry, Abhishek or Kashi or Ruta madam, whoever is there, just let me know whenever I have to stop. It's 12:30, I know, but the topic itself is we started a little around 10-15 minutes late. How much time do more I have let me know, please.
Sir, you can take half hour.
Oh, thank you, Kashi Bhau. You are so kind. It's
Okay.
good. So half an hour we can do a lot more. Can we get responses from people? I don't know if they are still there because it's just the computer screen that I see. Friends, can I just see your thumbs up if you're enjoying the session so far, or do you want me to change the route? Do you want me to talk about something else? See, I can go on sharing different case studies and make it sound like a storytelling session, but that is essentially is not the purpose for which we all are here. So I'm doing more onto these theories and more onto these important stuff. um, so anyone, can I see some more hands, please? Please keep posting. Kashiva, just let me know if there are decent number of people who are interested in the session, or else maybe we should not waste their half an hour also.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will.
So okay, friends, this is a very exciting slide that I prepared for you. Might as well in the time I get your responses, I'll set this up for you. Um, Financial statement analysis. This is something that we all are expert into, and we should all get into a big detail. What all can we do in this is what I'm gonna put up for you. So until now we've seen bank statement, we've seen promoter analysis, we see people profiling. Now another very important aspect is this financial statement analysis. Revenue and debtors. The first one, growth percentage of debtors vis-a-vis revenue. See, these are some of the signs that will tell you something is wrong is happening with this company. Export sales made to customers who have very less existence on public domain. Find out those people जिसको export हो रहा है. Find out whether they have that Google presence, whether they have that LinkedIn presence, whether they have that business profile, DNB से कुछ मिलता है, something or the other that you can get. Most of them will have a bogus address. Most of them will have a pseudo address or a virtual office, something like that. But at least try and find out. Keep them, give them on paper. And friends, believe me, if you do this in your statutory audit or your internal audit or your risk management audit, I'm telling you, your fees are gonna double very soon. Yeah, market. I did this in South. I was in Kochi. I did this event in Kochi. I did this event in other places in Calcutta and everywhere. So I've got a feedback where these risk management auditors have come back. Sir, we have asked them. Those they said forensic audit to हमको नहीं कराना. And I said okay fine. We are introducing some more aspects of our risk and management audits in your own profile in the job we are doing. तो free में तो हम नहीं करेंगे, but let's do देखते क्या result आता है. And when they came out with these results, they immediately were given a good mandate and the fees were doubled. Yeah. So you can, I'm sure you should all try this out with some of the. So I've given you hints of people that you can find or companies that you can find out whether these things are there, and these consultants are there or these parties are there, and you can do these small little analysis. I'm sure you'll enjoy with some good fees, and all of this can be done from home. Huh? You can sit back, relax, do it from the best ACs of your homes and on your bed and everything, but be very focused in doing these exercises. Perform analysis on sales register to check concentration of sales. Mapping of transaction related parties. So in one of the steel sector companies that we were doing a forensic audit, what we found was there were particular transactions that were happening with only one entity. है बहुत सारी entities है, but most of these transactions are happening with one similar entity, और वो entity का नाम बड़ा ही weird सा लग रहा था हमको. जैसे सत्यम और मेहतास था ना, वैसे ही this company had a ऐसा similar striking name. They were all names of Shiv Bhagwan. So these companies were there and they all had different names of Mahadev or Bhole, or all of these companies were there. And now Mahakal Trading, all of that. So I'm saying what we did was we just selected these companies और वो पूरा web बन गया. When we plotted these transactions, एक पूरा so purchase भी हो रहा है, sales भी हो रहा है, सब हो रहा है, and then we could identify very easily a pattern. Eventually the promoter mentioned that नहीं सर, हमको जब कैश में जब करना होता है तो हम लोग इस कंपनी को बिलिंग करते हैं, इस कंपनी करते हैं, क्योंकि बहुत बार होता है, अक्सर प्रैक्टिकल है, जिस एरिया में हम लोग काम करते हैं वहाँ पर कैश वैश सब होता है. I'm like सर दिस इज नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल. बोला नहीं, ये हमारी उसी कंपनी के लिए काम आती है. देन वी आस्क्ड फॉर डिटेल्स अबाउट दैट कंपनी. उनके ऑडिटर्स कौन थे? दे वर ऑल शैम. उनके फाइनेंशियल्स मंगाया, उनके हमने सब देखे और देखा तो कंपनी कहीं थी नहीं. दे वर ओनली पेपर कंपनीज. So big, you can create a lot of chain in terms of getting the information out, and then rest becomes very simpler. We are all financial experts, chartered accountants hai, itna difficult exam pass karke hai, so it becomes very simple for us to identify. Mapping of transaction with related parties, this is what we did, we created a map of transactions. तो इसमें actually I'm telling you, it doesn't take a lot, it's just you have to sit down with a paper and a pen, seriously. जो जो आप देख रहे हो कंप्यूटर पे अभी जैसे, like as well we are doing a session also on this, all you need to do is sit down with a paper and pen and keep understanding कि क्या बोल रहा जा रहा है क्या है, and keep writing it in the way you understand it. Automatically you will develop this for yourself. Top 10 parties and check their credentials. Then next item for you on my hanger is purchase and creditors. Recurring purchase from single vendor, no quotations, sudden increase in expense without change in revenues. So these are all those indicators. Plot the top 10 vendors. See whether these vendors and revenue and debtors are they connected to each other. These debtors and creditors, any connection, the top 10 में जो मिले आपको कोई connection है, 100% connection निकलेगा. Loans and advances given to such creditors and all that. Related party transactions, review list of disclosed related parties, group companies, substantial debts raised in loans and advances दिया हुआ है, investment किए हुए हैं, वो सब related parties आप सब निकाल के रखो and see whether they really have any substance. Cash and bank reconciliations, large cash payment, large transaction of round amount of movement for funds with different bank accounts. So अगर आप देख रहे हो कि there are so many bank accounts opened up, what is the use of these bank accounts? Why would a company have so many multiple bank accounts? That is the biggest red flag. And then you can keep on looking at various other round of जो हमने पहले discuss किया था, if there are any such transactions. Last is this is the most intelligent thing that we can do, the most dynamic thing that we all can do. I got it done from Kashi Bhau in one of the cases, and Kashi helped me. I don't know whether he realizes this. I took his help, but Kashi, thanks to you, we unearthed a very big fraud because I asked him to, in Pune while we were doing a forensic audit, there was this place that we wanted to go, which was a little far off, and traveling again and to and for Pune, Mumbai was difficult. So I asked Kashi with his local expertise to please find out whether these parties are really there and these shops and everything. And as I was expecting, Kashi gave me all the photographs and everything from his person who visited them and said, "Sir, ये तो सब एक ही है. ये गाले अलग अलग दिख रहे हैं पर they are all interconnected और रेंट पे दिए हुए हैं, एक ही चल रहा है, सबके उसके नाम लगे हुए हैं, ये है वो है." And it was very simple. Small one visit that you have to do. Usually होते हैं ऐसी लोकेशन पे होते हैं that most of the auditors will find it difficult. मतलब एक पूरा दिन जाता है, पूरा man day जाता है to go there and get it done. So but you can always reach out to your friends, reach out to your in network. So as a chartered accountants, we've got a natural network amongst ourselves. We are blessed with a good network of like-minded people, of financially expert people, and whenever you ask these kind of things, it's very easy. So for example, we are doing one most difficult forensics that we do is for a software company, because everything is on the cloud. कुछ दिखता नहीं है, कोई पेपर पे नहीं, कुछ नहीं है, एंड बड़े बड़े नाम इन्वॉल्व रहते हैं बिकॉज ऑल दीज आर टेक्निकल पीपल, इंजीनियर्स और ये सब रहते हैं. तब ये फाइनेंशियल्स इतना समझते नहीं है, बट दे कैन डू लॉट ऑफ स्टफ, सॉफ्टवेयर, और इतने सारे मैनिपुलेट हो सकता है, डेटा हो सकता है. हमने हार्ड डिस्क उठाया, हार्ड डिस्क को उन्होंने है ना रेप्लिकेट कर दिया, इमेजिंग कर दिया. दे कैन रिमोटली कंट्रोल व्हाट वी आर फाइंडिंग इन हार्ड डिस्क, what tools we are using and what results we are getting. They can manipulate that also. मतलब they are so extreme, those so super smart people. उनको तोड़ने के लिए हमको क्या होना चाहिए? सिंपल, ऑडिटर्स. जिन ऑडिटर्स को उन्होंने हटाया, जिन चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स को उन्होंने अपने कंपनी से निकाला होगा, जो छोड़ के चले गए होंगे, जिनको बोनस नहीं दिया होगा, any of these people, if they have any grudges against these people, they are our friends. Enemies are friends, enemies of enemy are friends. तो बस वही आपको यूज करना है इसमें, and therefore you can find out all of these things. So discrete source inquiries is what I have mentioned here. Gather information on business operations of target companies, vendors, current employees, ex-employees, factory labor, all this. Now, if you'll see this slide, this slide, यहाँ पर आपको काफी दिख रही, इधर एक बहुत बड़ा स्पेस खाली दिख रहा है. ये खाली नहीं है स्पेस. This space is for you to fill. This is your creativity, because this public domain research and investigation is an absolute artistic place. How much your left brain, which is a creative brain, works will be shown on this right hand side of your slide. Yeah, opposites attract, the left to right. This space is therefore I have left for you to using these two things. What all can you do it? If you can in your paper or something, maybe not now, but whenever you get a situation, but think about it, and you can definitely, once you put yourself in the shoes of an investigator or maybe finding out companies, you can find these out. And this is the slate that you have to fill, and what you will fill in this slate, you will get actually out of it. And I'm telling you, this works. This psychology really works. So reach out to those people, reach out to networks, and get. This is the best way you can get your networking done. Okay, so these are some of the case studies that I'm coming up with. These are case studies are there. You can find out. So ONGC fraud is what I would was just want to take your time on to. ONGC fraud, man, there was this around 150 crore fraud that had happened just because of an email. I don't know how many of you look at emails. So suppose, for example, Pune ICI का email आता है, Pune ICI admin. But today we got an email from no reply @zoom.us, जिसका tagline भी था Pune ICI. Now we've got link through this email ID. But whenever we search Pune ICI say we would got link from say Deepak Bhai or Abhishek or other, but we never got this link. So usually it is a zoom.us ID which was camouflaged under Pune ICI. Now this is an example. If someone has to, someone is there, so he's expecting a payment. Okay. So an insider knows that this company has to do a payment of say around 10 lakh rupees to this person. Now what I have to do is suppose a person say Arpit Kabra. So my email ID is say arpit.kabra@gmail.com. It is not my email ID, but I'm just giving you for the namesake. And I'm expecting in from your company. So I've delivered some consultancy and you have to pay me say around 10 lakh rupees. Uh, what happens is so an employee within inside your firm, what he would do is he would open an ID arpit.kabra@yahoo.com, or Arpit, he would say AR say double PIT dot kabra@gmail.com. He would create one another ID and just send it to you with an email saying that look, my bank account has changed. Please remit my funds in this bank account, a different bank account. Voila, gone. 10 lakh rupees, you will accept it. Okay, fine. We have to pay to Arpit by. How many times do we really focus on these email IDs? So that exactly happened in ONGC. But again, it is not just smartly that ONGC thing, it has to be an insider job as well, because इतना बड़ा payment ऐसे ही किसी को मतलब it obviously raises an eye कि एकदम से बैंक अकाउंट चेंज कैसे हो गया, और why is it asking, और हम तो इतने KYC करते हैं, कैंसिल चेक मंगाते हैं, ये वो करते हैं. So all of these are very important things, but when there is see, most of these frauds happen when there are insiders involved. So but you have to find out the signs of doing a fraud is these emails, these kind of things, and then maybe you can find out whether really. So Ranbaxy fraud is a very good fraud, a very big case study that you should all go through. And Dinesh Thakur, the whistleblower, I'll just highlight some steps, some things that are happening in Ranbaxy. Ranbaxy never tested its medicines. All it did was with fancy names, it sent out some medicines. It used to sell those medicines in US, in all the markets. There were no history of testing. Every chemical has to be tested. Every medicine has to be tested. It has to go through a shelf life exercise to find out its expiry date, and it has to be tested in clinical control activities. And how can we scale up to replicate this same process of this chemical in on a body? All of these steps have to be done, and therefore एक research paper बनता है, एक आपका sample बनता है, सब कुछ बनता है. They surpassed all of this. They used to procure this all from a black market in India, very easily available. But only thing that they could not get was the papers, these documents, which are age-old exercise documents. उनको कैसे करते हैं? So they had invested a huge amount in a pressing machine. There was a machine that they had procured जिसमें वो लोग papers ऐसे डालते थे, उसमें click करते थे कि we want 50-year-old paper. वो heat और pressure से वो paper वैसे ही निकलता था जैसे as if it is 50-year-old. तो हमारे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट साहब एक हैं, उन्होंने बोला सर ये तो जरूरत क्या है ये सब करने की, हमको दे दो। हमारा चाय होता है, चाय जो पीते हैं हम लोग वो कभी रख दिया, क्रम्पल करके हमने फेंक दिया, मट्टी से डाल दिया, ये कर दिया, हम तो ऐसे ही कर देते हैं उसको, बहुत सिंपल है, इतना बड़ा इन्वेस्टमेंट करने की जरूरत थी। But they were engineers, they wanted to do it so specifically. So instead of really developing medicines, what they did was they invented ways to do a fraud in a very systematic manner so that they are not caught. And the most important part, the FDA are the strictest people who do keep a strong administration. अब these people, these idiots, okay, Ranbaxy इतना बड़ा नाम था, they used to always inform them in advance कि हम लोग अब आएंगे, इस टाइम पे आएंगे, और आते थे। they never did a surprise visit, they never did। तो उसके लिए एक रात पहले से सब तैयारी करके रखते थे, और उस दिन तो सिर्फ खाना पीना, मतलब दिस प्लांट इज इन बड्डी, रैनमैक्सी का, तो वहां पर इन्होंने तो मतलब चिकन मटन ये वो सब, मतलब जो जाता था जवाई की तरह ट्रीटमेंट मिलता था। तो दिनेश ठाकुर himself took it on him कि नहीं, I have to do something beyond this. So he started gathering evidences, all of this, and asked the FDA to do a surprise visit, all of this. And they were shocked to find out that they had nothing but this. So Revital is a Ranbaxy product. Salman Khan साहब जो लेते हैं हमारे. So I'm a big fan of Salman Khan, but thankfully I never followed his advice to have that Revital. Otherwise, I don't know where we would have been today. So this is one of those frauds. One very interesting thing that we did was, have you heard that Birbal story of चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका, और एक एक आपने, so he used to give these straws, बोला कि अपने आप ये 5 इंच बढ़ के आ जाएगा. Now we use that principle. It was not my idea, it was someone else's idea, but I'm trying to share this idea with you. So we were doing this non-charitable organization. There was a big trust where we were doing this audit, and apparently they said कि sir, there are signs of declining collections. Although there were, the visitors were huge, we had a huge footfall, और जो भी आता है दान दे के जाता है, तो कैसे हो सकता था? So they had these 5 collection boxes, 5 places where these boxes were there. It was very difficult क्योंकि CCTV और ये सब जो भी है सब ध्यान रख के ही होता था, कहाँ से पिलफरेज हो रहा है, कहाँ से लीकेज हो रहा है. So what we did was we called up a trust meeting, and we knew कि ये बिना insider के हो नहीं सकता, but who is the insider? And all of these are legendary people. We cannot pinpoint any of these people. So what we did was we called a joint meeting of all these trustees. We asked them, we told them, sir, what we gonna do is quietly, we are using a 500 rupees note, and we'll be marking a cross, a small red cross on a corner. और बताया हमने, लिटरली बताया कि ये 500 रुपये पे इधर मारेंगे और हम डाल देंगे, जो भी पैसा उठा रहा है वो ये भी उठाएगा, और जिस बॉक्स में ये पैसा नहीं मिलेगा उसको हम पकड़ लेंगे. और दिस वाज गिवन, दिस इंफॉर्मेशन गिवन, और एक हफ्ता हम लोग रुके रहे. एक हफ्ते बाद ये 5 बॉक्सेस जब आए कलेक्शन के बाद, हमने उनको खोला, तो आपको पता है क्या है, हमको सिर्फ एक बॉक्स में 500 रुपए का नोट मिला. व्हाट डू यू थिंक? We never put a 500 rupee note in any of the boxes. The person जिसकी चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका था, the person who was guilty conscious himself put a 500 rupee note with a cross. What we did was we put a डॉलर करेंसी हमने डाल दिया था, क्योंकि फॉरेन करेंसीज भी आती थी उनके पास, तो हम लोग को वही देखना था. तो सारे बॉक्सेस में हमको डॉलर मिले, सिवाय उसी बॉक्स में वो डॉलर करेंसी नहीं था और वो 500 रुपी का नोट था. दैट प्रूव्ड दैट दिस इज वेयर दिस इज हैपनिंग. अब वो फिर उसके बाद हमने ट्रेल ली, चेन ली, और वी फाउंड आउट किसके पास वो कंट्रोल था. तो वो एक अंकल उनके ट्रस्टी थे, मतलब he what he had done was he had prepared a duplicate key, who used it, who opened it up, who used to take this money to an extent of 25 crores in a systematic manner, was pilfered out of that one little locker, one box. This is what we did. So these are small little ways that you can come out, innovative ways. As I said, it's an art. You can come out and you can find out, क्योंकि इसमें हमको और कोई तरीका नहीं सूझा था. No financials, no bank statement, no nothing. How do we find out whether what is the fraud, and how do we find out the fraudulent activity in this, and who is the fraud? So this is a small little thing that you could do. Now this is one exercise for all of you. This picture that I put up, you've been hearing me for so long. Can you find out some mistakes in this picture? I hope, Abhishek, can you see this picture well? मतलब visible है ये properly? Clear है? hello, Abhishek, Kashi, hello.
हाँ visible है.
You can find out, right? So I'll tell you one mistake is this tiger having horns. So tiger cannot have horns, for example. So
Okay.
right, ऐसे mistakes है इस picture में. Like it's just an activity for all of you. Maybe 5 minutes. If you can find out what all mistakes are there, and you can put it in the chat box. Kashi, can you read out some of the responses for me? अगर किसी ने response भेजा है तो.
ये पहले भी सचिन ने
Guitar strings are different.
Correct.
Look at dictionaries of big size.
Perfect. Super.
Watch.
Perfect.
I have unmuted everyone so that many members can participate.
But are they answering or are they talking to themselves?
Pillow cover is different.
Sorry?
Pillow cover is different.
Right.
Chessboard has item outside.
Superb. Who's that person? Just say the name, no? Kashi? किसने बोला?
Amit Samadar.
Wow, Amit, well done, yeah. Good observation.
ये लोग बहुत किट करते हैं ना. फीडबैक है इनका.
अभिषेक भाई, I think
ये
म्यूट
बहुत ही
करना पड़ेगा
एकदम बाल की खाल निकालने में माहिर है सब लोग.
बाल की खाल निकालने में माहिर.
थोड़ा जूनियर बंदा ऐसा लग रहा है ऐसा.
ये सब फोरेंसिक हो जाएगी अभी सबकी.
Yes.
So let's not embarrass everyone. सब लोग जो भी बोल रहे हैं. Instead, please put in your remarks in the chat
Tail
box.
of dog on sofa
अरे
wrong.
very good. कौन है? Who's put up that?
Seema Paranspe.
सीमा मैडम ग्रेट. वो पिलो भी वैसा और ये भी टेल भी वैसा है उसमें. अगर आपने निकाला है दैट मींस अ वेरी गुड ऑब्जर्वेशन. पोल्का डॉट्स पिलो है और वो टेल भी स्ट्राइप्स है. So very nice.
Yes. And Ibiza tower is straight. ऐसा लिखा है किसी ने.
Yes, that's correct. लॉकडाउन में कोई जा नहीं रहा ना उसको पकड़ने के लिए, तो इसलिए सीधा हो गया वो. Any more coming in? So I'll just put it up for all of you. Do you see this shirt? Half sleeves,
Calendar
full sleeves?
placement is also there. Person in white costume, one sleeves is half.
Yes.
Chessboard has 7 squares.
Yes, that I think वो आया बताया किसी ने पहले.
Calendar placement.
Okay. Wow, great. We've got a great audience, yaar. Abhishek, Pune, I think amazing. इतनी जल्दी you've given us so much of, and you're attentive. That's the best part. So I am assuming the session so far has been good and interactive. These are the mistakes. They are there. So I was hoping.
Yes. So almost everyone got it.
The shoes of in the photograph no one could get. वो जूतियां हैं और एक में वैसा है. All it was difficult. And 6 is the sunset and the time. If you'll see, time जो दिख रहा है तो clock पे जिसने दिया, I was hoping कि वो 6 का sunset देख लेगा. वो time match नहीं हो रहा है. So it's 1 o'clock in the clock, about 1 o'clock, और ये ऐसा sun हो नहीं सकता उस time पे. So that was the significant. So 11 and chessboard or wo tail is one of the most difficult observations, but we found that out. butterflies be someone would have seen, but I don't know. So right, that's how it is. These are some balance sheet analysis that I've picked up. I could do a case study. I mean, it again takes around 10-15 minutes, but I'm not doing that. Uh, Small little illustrations that I have created. All of the, maybe you can quickly take a screenshot of this and understand these things. This is how usually typically some of the modus operandi that we have identified. I've plotted them for all of you, for all of us to maybe look at what exactly happens. Manipulation कैसे होता है, relationship with statutory auditors, 3 different companies. So one single promoter, this guy, makes sure this entire thing, he designs all of this. So he's a director of this movie, and then finally becomes an NPA and goes for a CDR restructuring or whatever to consortium. But before now, what has happened is at this level, we have come into picture. Now, until unless a forensic auditor says go through, this restructuring will never happen. तो ये इस मिस्टर प्लानर जो ये प्रोमोटर है, इसकी सारी की सारी प्लानिंग is now based on us. It's only we people, if we can do this. Sorry, where's the marker here? This can go for a toss. ये सारी की सारी planning can all be thrown up in the drain if we forensic auditors can identify and prove this as a fraud. So we become very crucial for this personality. This is what, as a first step, as an opportunity that you can do is get into statutory audit mode, do in the risk management audit, and become at this level. At this level, maybe you can play an important role. If you can find out all of these things, and if you can find out this person, and it's very easy within the scope of work that we usually have, and if we do a focused work, this is very easy. Right, going to the next. Oh, sorry, how to get rid of this now. There's one more case study that I have prepared. So public sector bank say 270 crore gone to a loan to a target company, and immediately that amount is gone to a company, a partnership firm, another partnership firm, in this manner. So these are all their suppliers of machineries, which I mentioned in all of them, and so overall 262 crores is now distributed. Now what happens is these are all suppliers are interrelated. These all are interrelated. They are all persons are connected to each other. The partners being erstwhile director promoter of the company, partnership having loan transaction, have firms covered under loan transactions of the company, similar registered address, and all of these are the ways where we have identified these are all related to each other. Now what happens is this is how they get procurements done. So 59 crores against the value of 1.24 crores. ये पैसा गया उड़ गया. Then 1.21 crore short-term loans and advances given to supplier company. Already advance दे रखा है, loans and advance दे रखा है उसी company को जिससे आप purchase कर रहे हो. 10 crores transfer by supplier to shell company. और मैडम आ गई एक मिसेज एन. इन्होंने तो बहुत जबरदस्त काम कर रखा है. अभी पाकिस्तान समझ लो, in our case it was Pakistan, so I put it Pakistan, but it could be any other country, be it Australia. One of the very big cases that we did was in Australia. Zoom developers was the wife of promoter of Target, promoter family, and all of this. So this is, so I don't know if so you want to take a screenshot, maybe quickly take a screenshot of this. There's another kind of a modus operandi that I have highlighted. ये बहुत significant है. See, there are the data is the new oil. तो database में हमारे पास आजकल income tax ने shell companies बता रखी है, सेबी ने strike off companies की list दे रखी है, sorry MCA ने, SFIO से अभी investigation से हम. So if all these companies are there और कोई company का नाम इसमें अगर आ रहा है, it's very easy for us to pick up that company and start making a trail of funds to that company. Kickback transactions जो होते हैं, kickback transactions अगर अपन को दिख रहे हैं यहाँ पर, so that can be identified very easily. So in all, in asset creation of 8 crores out of the entire money that was distributed to me, I've done that shamelessly. I've utilized it to create my own. So these are the various novel ways that these promoters and these people use to divert and siphon off the funds. And clearly they are the willful defaulters. They cannot take this. Coming to our end, what are the key takeaways? First is going beyond the confines of definition. As I said, RP, RPT और जो भी definition आपने अभी तक सुनी है as an audit में, उसको आपको छोड़ के आगे जाना पड़ेगा. You have to go to substance over form, go to the spirit of the regulations, and connected parties में आ जाओ आप. So that becomes unmasking. Arrangement for providing free usage of asset facilities, unusual characteristic arrangements that do not reflect, as a prudent feature, you will not do that. वो आप पकड़ सकते हो. Termination, modification of approved RP transactions, questioning purpose and legitimacy, obvious जो है, engaging with the staff. This is the most important thing that you should do. Engage with the staff. There is something called as a good cop, bad cop. आप वो कर सकते हो. आप you can be a very bad person और आपका immediate जो engagement manager है, मतलब you are a partner, आप तो जाओगे तो आप तो ठोक पीट के आओगे. और आपका जो बंदा है नीचे, उसको बोल सकते हो कि यार आप प्लीज बोलो, मतलब उसको बोल सकते हो कि यार मुझे ये आदमी पसंद नहीं है, मेरा पार्टनर इतना इरिटेटिंग है और इतनी ऑब्जर्वेशन हम निकालते हो वैसे भी वो छोड़ देता है, कहीं ना कहीं इधर उधर सेटलमेंट कर लेता है, ऐसा वैसा. एटलीस्ट अपन तो काम करते हैं, अपन अपन इंश्योर करते हैं अपन को अपना सब हो जाता है. सो यू कैन एंगेज विद दोज पीपल. Promoters, anyways, promoters जिन्होंने fraud किया हुआ है, they are anyways finding out a loophole in your own firm, in your own setup. अगर वो loophole आसानी से उनको मिल जाता है, so lure them into that trap. और उनको बता दो कि this is what is happening, तो वो शायद उससे connect करेंगे, उसको play करेंगे, उसके बाद करेंगे. You have to keep that in mind, keep your communications open, and automatically you will get a lot of information which they have hidden, which they have conspired. So so these psychological games are something which are very important that you should keep doing in a forensic audit. And as I said, welcome to this world of art. It's an absolute art of how to read a person. आप किसी को accuse करते हो तो one latest example, अभी महाभारत चल रही थी जो सबसे ज्यादा TRP दी जिसको, महाभारत and रामायण. So you will find whenever you accuse a person, you will find different kind of reactions. एक होगा धृतराष्ट्र जैसा, जो बेचारा सिर्फ अपन को अपने आप को डिफेंड करता रहेगा, यार ये मैंने नहीं किया, ये वो नहीं है. सो एक्चुअली ही इज नॉट डन इट, बट ये होता जा रहा है एंड ही हैज टू आउट ऑफ कंपल्शन जस्ट सब्सक्राइब टू द फैक्ट. फिर आपको एक आदमी मिलेगा हु इज अ दुर्योधन. दुर्योधन मतलब ही विल कीप ऑन आर्ग्यूइंग एज इफ ही इज राइट, and he passionately feels that whatever he's done is done for the right because he's been told and he's been offered by someone कि नहीं ये सब सही है, तू करते जा करते जा करते जा. So he is that you will find someone who will be very very vocal, very argue, and he would try to overpower you and everything. Then there will be someone like a Karna who will be silent and shocked. He will be quiet, but he will be shocked कि अच्छा ये सब भी, I never knew this all happened, this fraud was there, this was there, I never knew, I never realized, but he was part of it. He was the most skillful person to do all of this, but he would be silent and shocked. You can find it out from his body language. And but that is one person that you have to find out who is absolutely indifferent, who will not give you any reaction, who is the one person who has conspired all of this. He is the mastermind, Mr. Shakuni, हमारे मामा Shakuni. You have to find out that person. He is the one who has done this, and you will find it out because हर बार जब भी आप accuse करोगे, जब भी बोलोगे, he'll be indifferent, he'll be quiet, he'll be behind the scenes. He'll usually play his cards or through Duryodhan or a Karna, or a Dhritarashtra, but he will never come on in front. That is the person whom you have to be watchful of, you have to be careful of. This is the bottom line. Data analytics, very important. Learn those data analytics. If you think there is a better way, of course there is the one. There probably is. अगर आपको लग रहा है ये इससे नहीं हो रहा है और कुछ और हो सकता है, definitely keep trying, keep exploring, get into investigative, put yourself in the shoes of that promoter. कि अगर आप वो promoter होते तो आपने कैसे कोई fake company बनाते हैं, कैसे पैसे लेके जाते, लेके जाना होता, ये करना. So once you start behaving in that manner, you will get to know a lot of things. Don't rely on the work of experts unless you have exhausted all the ways of ascertaining. Never ever, believe me, never ever trust whoever experts or whoever reports you have seen so far. Unless उससे कोई negative मिलता है आपको, use that. Positive है तो आप तो उसको discount करो. A non-cooperative borrower is better than a very cooperative one. Always remember this fact. क्योंकि जितना cooperative borrower होगा ना, he'll keep you beating around the bush. वो आपको घुमाता रहेगा, घुमाता रहेगा, घुमाता रहेगा. He will never let you focus on the one thing that you want to do. And last and most important, don't rely on hearsay and see too good to be a true scenario. Any scenario that you see कि यार ये इतना easily कैसे हो गया? How come he easily gave us this? How come this Duryodhan easily told us all of this? It is a too good to be a true scenario. It is a wrong thing. Don't focus. Don't waste your time there. Because the moment you will find out any evidence or you will create any solution for it, he will give you an information or documentation and it will discount that entire observation of yours. आपकी वो observation कभी काम नहीं आएगी. What are the different portfolios that you can offer in this forensic audits? These are the opportunities, as I said. Investigation, management forensics बहुत हो रही है आजकल. Anti bribery corruption है, integrity due diligence है, forensic audits है. Some of the small little things that has helped us a lot. Silence is something that has also, as I said, I come from a meditation and all of this art of living follower. Abhishek would also, who's also a keen art of living follower. One thing that always is being told to us is silence makes the best sense. So when it is wisdom that is speaking, be silent. Do not waste your candle when the sun is there. Don't keep on shouting. Don't keep on proving your point because no one is listening to you right now and no one is gonna pay heed to you right now. Make sure that you are making it count when it is really required. Energy waste करके कोई sense नहीं है. Let silence be the art you practice. The most important thing in communication is what is not said. जितना आप कम मतलब आधा बोल के अगर आप communicate कर पाओगे and you can keep. So in most of the cases, we have said you अच्छा आपने उसकी बात की थी. Okay, अपने आप we get that name. Oh, you're talking about this person. This is who has the. I think sir मेरे को मालूम है आप किसकी बात कर रहे हो, पर छोड़ो जाने दो. Oh yes, so he'll automatically give you the name कि नहीं आप मिस्टर इनकी बात कर रहे हो क्या? इनकी. And therefore that is the person. Work hard in silence, later success. Okay. Be silent in two conditions. When you feel one can't understand your feelings, and one can understand you without any words. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. Fools multiply when wise men are silent, and silence is one of the hardest arguments to refute. अगर आप चुप रहोगे, most of the whenever you go and accuse a person of doing a fraud, he will obviously never accept it because he's done it. He will not face the consequences. So all you need to do is establish it and prove it in a place where it is. Like you don't have to do anything. You don't have to fight it out. There is no argument. Bola and it will be done. That's it. That is the objective. That is the ultimate aim that you should follow. But remember, fools multiply when wise men are silent. Let them multiply. Keep on multiplying. You play a silent role, or someone in your team should play that silent role, because that is where you will get most of the observations. So that's it from my end. I end it up over here. This is my number. You can reach out to me if at all I'll be more than happy if you can share a feedback to me. As I said, this is the first time for me in Pune. If you feel there is something that I should learn, that I should get more, or I should improve on, please let me know. Or if you need any further information from me, please help me with that. I'll be more than happy to share that with you. Hope I've not bored you all, and I've extended a lot of time.
Not at all, man.
Not at all.
Hope the presentation made you feel good about the colors, especially have been chosen to make you feel good about all the time. They're not dull, they're bright, and I hope you get these bright colors all your life, and this lockdown becomes much more colorful, just like the way in my presentation has made it.
Yes. Thank you,
Thank
Arpit
you.
bhai. It was a wonderful presentation. It was really interactive also, the way you asked few questions also. And it was, what we say, a new avenue for all the chartered accountants. They can understand the forensic now, and if they want to practice, they will start practicing, and they will start doing the related study to that. Yes. Thank you so much, Arpit. I now request
Thanks.
Kashinath Pathare to please propose formal vote of thanks on behalf of Pune branch.
I sincerely thanks to Arpit Bhai for sharing his.
Kashi Bhau, close आइए. You have helped me close a very good forensic. So you are a part of this engagement also, this seminar also.
I'm audible.
Yes.
I sincerely thanks to Arpit Bhai for sharing his very good examples. Uh, I since thanks to Arpit Bhai for giving your valuable time. We are meeting soon after COVID-19 lockdown in Pune branch. Then we will meet. Thanks all participants for patient hearing. Thanks all of you. Stay home, safe home. Thank you.
अर्पित भाई शनिवार वाड़ा आना है आपको जल्दी.
जल्दी
शनिवार
जाएंगे.
वाड़ा आपके लिए खुलाएंगे.
जल्दी जाएंगे.
शनिवार वाड़ा आपके लिए खुलाएंगे और चाय भी पिलाएंगे वहाँ शनिवार वाड़ा
क्या
में.
बात है.
Yes, yes.
Great. Thank you, Abhishek bhai, for giving this opportunity. Thank you, Kashi.
Okay.
Thank you, Ruta madam, and thank you, Deepak, for organizing this, playing a very good role in this logistics, setting up this very effectively for all of us. And एक और मैडम आप नाम ले रहे थे अभिषेक भाई, क्या नाम था उनका?
Reshma is
रेशमा
there.
जी. Thank you, Reshma, for coordinating all of this effectively. Look forward
Yes.
to meet with all of you. Interact soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.